fatty, bloodless schlump. And for some reason, you stink like a rice bag. Those are only some of the creative epithets my wonderful colleagues used to describe me at primary school when I was more vertical than horizontal a few years ago, and which they did not really fancy. Because of that, the friendships I had before high school were few and far between. We'd intuitively say that what those guys did was bad. But was it really so if so many people did it and felt no remorse for doing it? How do we know? Even when we strive for good and we wholly assure to ourselves it is the thing to be done, but we do it against the status quo. This tingling in the back of our head appears that maybe I shouldn't go through. There's something wrong with what I do. Why is that? In short, becoming good simply boils down to having more people than not liking something. We have our differences that repel, but we also have similarities that we share. And they are so strong, we create views, moralities that are common to us. And it happens on all the levels of the social hierarchy, be it a small group of friends or a whole nation. But this system constantly changes, like a kaleidoscope, creating different patterns out of the same particles. Though many are beautiful and alike, there are some that we may consider ugly, which we could compare to the views that are totally alien to us, the moralities we disagree with. And those are guaranteed to heaven. And I've seen it unveiled right there in my primary school. After 3 or 4 years, started to make a little fun of me. So did the rest permit themselves to turn a blind eye to what they thought was inappropriate before and tread in their footsteps to just feel better, to make fun of me, simply. And as time went by, this became the new normal. So right there, in the 7th grade, I stood all doomed and gloomy, quite miserable. And after a PE lesson, when I had to endure that classic, "You can't run," it struck me. You know what? Those guys are right. I can't run, and if I dare try, I would probably turn into a fountain of sweat. I guess some things never really change. And I had this thought, maybe I should change. And this was just the first hunch that commenced a tug of war between my thoughts, until one side won my heart and mind. I came to a conclusion. What those guys did was, unbeknownst to them, give me motivation for self-development, which invariably led me to the place I'm in right now, quite happily and comfortably standing. I'd honestly like to thank my childhood oppressors for they turned out to be secretly my guiding angels. But now there's this realization. After 4 years from now, I may return to the position that what they did was all wrong, and after another 8, maybe it will be all right again. Phantare, everything flows. It's a Greek sentence which perfectly describes what I may feel, what may change, what is my opinion about the things that happened. Imagine the morality, the views we live in, as an ever-flowing, bubbling stream. Supposedly, we have 2 ways of dealing with that. First, we can just drift down the current, down into the uncertainty. And second, we can stay right there, hoping not to become submerged in the water. But I propose something totally different. We should get out of the water altogether and avoid getting even wet. Because of that, there will be no torrents, no waves, just peace of mind and tranquility. Let our moral judgments lay. For me, this revelation was truly life-changing and very liberating. Thank you.
Questions, please. I'm sure somebody has a question.
Wouldn't this kind of attitude, or aren't you afraid that this kind of attitude might lead to some kind of emotional passivity, not taking, not becoming involved in things that sometimes you should become emotionally invested in what is happening?
Thank you for your question. I'm not saying that we should not become emotionally invested, because we cannot change that we feel the way we feel when something happens to us. But I think we should not go and judge everything, because we may see the things totally different right now than we may see them in the future. And it's not really about the emotional involvement that I was talking about, but more about our attitude to life. We still can, with mine attitude, live the life the fullest, but we may just, but because that we don't judge, we don't maybe try to think that some things are bad and some things are good for us, we may take more pleasure from it.
Do you think it's fair to make people, say, change to positive ways or negative ways? For sure, do you think the characteristic is one?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do you think that it's better to convince people through positive reinforcement or through more negative means?
It was already scientifically proven that it's, I think, tenfold times better to do it with positive reinforcement. So I think we have that one figured out already.